What's going on, everybody? I see a few of you have already chimed in. We're going to get some more people in just a minute. And we're going to recap this really bad loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to talk about, who is to blame, why did this happen, and how do we move forward? We have a game in, a few days. So how do we move forward? So make sure y'all come on in. I see a few of y'all are already in already. And make sure y'all share this show out. And we're going to get ready to get started in just 30 seconds. Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody? Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody doing? Welcome in to TNT Postgame. I'm your host, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, and we're definitely going to try to do our best to have a good episode on this evening, even though it's not a good feeling to have waking up, to a Titans 19-13 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how this happened, why did this happen, who's to blame for this loss, and how do the Titans move forward with a game in a game in just a little under 72 hours from now. So, but before we do begin, I hope everybody can please hit that like button. If you can smash that like button, I'm almost at 1,100 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do go ahead and do so and turn on your notifications so that way you'll be able to get all of the content and everything that's going on. And last but not least, share the show out. You can share it out on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, anywhere of where everything comes in. So please do make sure you share the show. And we're going to have a good time. We're going to try to make the best of this situation and, try to figure out, how the Titans can bounce back. And, they're making a march to the playoffs. A lot of stuff is in doubt. It's a lot of reason to be down right now. But we're not out. We're not out. And I'm going to try to see if I can talk some of us off the ledge, myself included, but we're going to keep it real here. So thank everybody for tuning in. I see you got Clowney Super Bowl, CW, D09, Dennis, Charles. What's going on? Welcome y'all into the show. Clowney said this ridiculous narrative that Julio is going to take us over the top in the playoffs while not being able to contribute at all in the regular season. I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of done with Julio, at least for this year, because he can't stay healthy. I mean, The hamstring thing has been nagging. They put him on IR and give him essentially a month to heal. It makes it through one game, and mainly because we were up good in the second half, they didn't play him much. And then through the first half of this game, can't make it through a game. So you can't count on Julio to help you this season. So I'm kind of done with that. At least this year. CW says, can't really say I'm shocked they lost to the Steelers with the personnel on offense, but the way they did it with the fumbles, with the running game going well, never seen such a collapse in one half. Yeah, offense is truly the blame on this one. And we're going to talk about the defense. I have nothing. I'm going to say this right now. I have absolutely zero bad things to say about the defense. And I don't think anybody else does either. So we're going to definitely talk about this. Of course, D09 has been against Tannehill for quite some time. So I'm looking at Tannehill. I don't care. He's not the main problem. I don't care. He is not the main problem, but he's not elevating his play. He's playing like the mentality of a backup. Well, there's some things I can't disagree with. There's some things I might not be able to disagree with. Great game, ugly offenses on both sides. Well, man, look. It was ugly more for us than it was for y'all. Y'all got to take advantage of a bunch of short fields. So we're going to definitely talk about that. But I appreciate you tuning back in. Donzel86 says we could possibly lose all the remaining games. As much as I hate to say it, it is a possibility. And that's just being honest. The way this offense is going, yeah, that could definitely be a possibility. That much is true. So, let's get into this game. And let's talk about the good. As Ken Moore was saying, I won't say the exact same thing. He goes the good, the bad, and the concerning. I'm just going to go with the good, the bad, the ugly, as the movie goes. We're going to talk the good news first. Then we're going to talk the bad news. And that's really where I'm going to go. Good news, bad news, and who's to blame. So let's start with the good. And the good happened only on one side of the ball, and that would be the defensive side of the ball. And I give credit to, first of all, the defensive line. Really did a great job dominating up front. With Autry, Simmons making plays. Bud Dupree comes back, gets a sack, gets the first sack of the game for the Titans. And then Harold Landry nearly had a sack himself. And, and they doubled him on that particular play. So the defensive line did their job. Linebacker spot, Rashaan Evans had a couple of nice plays. Nice to see Zach Cunningham get some play and did a few good things as well. I think Christian Fulton and Buster Screen had some very solid games on the outside. Christian Fulton especially, despite the stupid penalties that the refs called, because I think they were bad calls. The unnecessary roughness for the penalty on Pat Freiermuth's hit, I thought was just awful. And the only reason they called that penalty was because Pat Freiermuth got hurt. That's the main reason they did that. And the pass interference penalty, I'm just thinking, what else was Christian Fulton supposed to do? What else could he have done in that situation? He's trying to be physical, but be physical within the rules with Claypool. And then, he gets, he takes off the contact, but then he knocks the ball away. And that was just a terrible PI call. And Buster Screen shouldn't have gotten called for the PI either, but it did offset with the holding call. So, again, I think the defense played a hell of a game. And they definitely should be commended for their performance. I mean, here's some numbers that I got on ESPN. The Steelers only ran 45 plays. Titans basically dominated the game. 78 plays. So they almost ran I won't say almost double, but I would say about another third. I would say at least more plays. I'd say at least about 33% more plays than what the Steelers ran. We only held the Steelers to 168 yards of total offense. 35 of them on the ground. And we completely shut Najee Harris down. He had 20 carries, 94 yards against Minnesota. 12 carries, 18 yards. The majority of the yards came on a Deontay Johnson end around. That was the main yards. But 12 carries, 18 yards for Najee Harris. 1.5 yards a carry. That means the last two main running backs, James Robinson and Najee Harris, combined for 20 carries for 26 yards. I don't care what anybody says. That is incredible by a defense. That's why they're number 2 in the league against the run. And this defense is playing lights out. I mean, the only reason that points were given up was because the offense, which we'll talk about in a minute, kept putting them in bad situations. And out of those situations, I think with the exception of one particular drive where I think they gained like 30 yards, but that's about it. Other than that, they basically held them to like 3 plays and a field goal. That's about it on all 4 of those drives. That was where the Steelers got all their points. Field goals. So, I mean, again, there were times where they started inside of the Titan 40-yard line and got 3 and out, but got points on the field goal. They did not surrender. So the defense stepped up in a major way. And we got a few sacks on Roethlisberger, got to him. I think really the tackling and the coverage was very, very good. As soon as either Claypool or Johnson caught the ball, there were like 3 or 4 guys swarming. They were not going to let them get yards after the catch, which I thought was a terrific performance, again, by this defense. And like Matt Man said, we got 4 field goals in a short field. At least we could run it. And we're going to talk about that. But yes, defense held up. And Matt Man talking about our offense was, ain't stopping us ain't hard. Well, at least y'all got points. But that was basically because of Titan turnovers. The Titan offense gave the Steeler offense those points. It wasn't that the Titan defense did anything wrong. It was the offense, which, again, we're going to talk about. So, some defensive stats that I thought was pretty good. Zach Cunningham in his first game, 6 tackles in his first game. Bud Dupree comes in, gets a sack. Danico Autry got a sack. And I know we talk about the 4 elementals and the 4 horsemen with Autry, Landry, Simmons, and Dupree. I think it's about time we add a 5th guy. We add a name for the Fab 5 to that list, and that guy being Naquan Jones, because he has come along getting better and better and better every single week. Naquan Jones has looked like a steal for us, and he went undrafted. He is an undrafted free agent that is stepping up in major ways. Now, he did kind of get away with a roughing the passer penalty because I think it was kind of a read option, and Naquan Jones just plowed into Roethlisberger, and the ball carrier, Ben, had the ball. So, I mean, the Titan defense, extremely impressive, without a doubt. And D09 says defense is legit. I have nothing to say about them, haven't all year. And that's true. The Titan defense, with these 5 losses in the last couple of these 3 out of the last 5 that we've lost, can't blame the defense. You can't blame the defense at all. Defense doing their job. Holding the team to 4 field goals off of turnovers and then shut out a team the week before. Titan defense doing their job. Which brings me, and before I do that, I'm going to probably have to continue doing this all year. Shane Bowen, I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I didn't mean to go off on you the way that I did. But I know I didn't believe. But you know what? Shane Bowen is making a believer out of me. And for that, Shane Bowen, I'm sorry. So I owe Shane Bowen that apology, because in the offseason, when the coordinator moves were made, I think all of us, myself included, thought, you know what, we might be all right with, we were all very skeptical of Shane Bowen. We were okay with the other guy, but we're going to get to that. But we were all like, why did you give Shane Bowen the job? He hasn't earned it. He hasn't done anything right. Well, Vrabel might have been right when he said it was the players. So they got some good players, and things have gotten better. So Shane Bowen deserves a lot of credit for the things that have gone right. And here is some other stats, and this is provided by John Glennon on Twitter. Listen to the rankings of the Titan defense. This is as of now after 14 games. Total defense in yards, we're 9th in total defense. Number 2 against the run. We've moved up to 19th against the pass, and we are 13th in scoring defense. We have pretty much a top 10 defense. Just about. Now, scoring defense, there are a few spots left, but I mean, the fact that they're in the top 15 in scoring defense and they're top 10 in yards, very impressive. Extremely. So Shane Bowen is owed an apology by a lot of people. But now, that was the good news. Now it's time to get to the bad news. The awful news. And that is the unmitigated disaster that is the Titans offense. Excluding Deontay Foreman and Dontrell Hilliard. The Tennessee Titan offense absolutely sucks. And this is why. Again, run game aside, because the running game was working. Deontay Foreman played his tail off. 22 carries, 108 yards. Averaged 4.9 yards a carry. Dontrell Hilliard, even though he had 9 carries, 49 yards. 5.4 yards a carry. Jeremy McNichols, even though he had 6 for 26, 4.3 yards a carry. We rushed for 201 yards as a team and averaged right at 5 yards a carry. Yet we didn't win the game. Good job of run blocking, but the passing offense is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I'm going to start at the very top. Remember what I said earlier in the show, that when the coordinators were named, we were so skeptical of Shane Bowen, and a lot of people were like, and myself included with Todd Downing, was, hey, let's give him a chance. Let's see what he can do. But I believe it was Austin Stanley or Zach from A to Z Sports and some others who said, well, word out of Oakland is, because Todd Downing was an offensive coordinator in Oakland, is that Todd Downing sometimes does not know how to use his players right, and he tends to go away from what works. So now that I think about it, the roles are reversed. Shane Bowen is the one I shouldn't be concerned about, and Todd Downing, or as somebody called it on the radio, Todd Drowning, is the one we should be mad at. Because Todd Downing is absolutely horrible at his job. He sucks as an offensive coordinator. And I know Buck Rising tried to defend and say, well, Todd Downing, I wouldn't put the blame on him. Look what he has to work with. And I like Buck Rising a lot. But I call pineapples on that. That's basically my word for BS. So, and this is why I say that. A good offensive coordinator understands that, yes, you do have a game plan. However, you have to know how to adjust and adapt. You got to know how to adapt to the situation and make adjustments in game. Yes, you have a different game plan week to week depending on opponents. But you also got to know how to make adjustments from the first half to the second half. You got to know how to make adjustments from the first quarter to the second quarter to the third quarter to the fourth quarter. You even have to, at times, make adjustments from series to series, and probably even the very best coordinators know how to make adjustments from play to play. Perfect example was the last play, the fourth down. You should have let Tannehill, let them receivers know, hey, whatever route you're running, get past the first down marker. Get past the first down marker. And Austin Stanley said this, and I agree. And I think, I want to say on Derek Downing and Chase too, or maybe it was even Robbie and Rex Road. Todd Downing has no feel for the game whatsoever. And I really believe Todd Downing has no idea what he's doing at all. I just don't think he knows what he's doing. He doesn't know how to use the weapons he has. I mean, a lot of coordinators, they make plays to get players open or to scheme plays that fits the skill set of a player. And I believe it. It just seemed like Todd Downing is like, I'm just going to call the plays that I call and hope that it works. That's what it feels like. It feels like he's just calling the play. Whoever you can find that's open, just throw the ball to them. Case in point, I think it is coaching malpractice 101 when you got a guy by the name of Julio Jones, even though he got hurt again, on the field and you can't get him the ball. Now, the very first play, Tannehill held the ball way too long, and we finna talk about Tannehill. He had Julio wide open, would have been a big touchdown had he just let go of the ball. And if it's me as an offensive coordinator, I don't care what I have to do. I am going to force feed the ball to Julio Jones. Because I'm like, that's the best receiver we got. I'm not going to be trying to force feed or scheme the play to Nick Westbrook-Akina or Chester Rogers, and that's only if Julio is not open. But there is no excuse that Julio played 26 snaps and does not get anywhere close to 8 targets a game. Julio should be getting at least 8 targets a game. Now, true, he needs to stay healthy, and he hasn't been able to. But, again, 26 snaps, 1 target. That's pathetic. And that's partially on Todd Downing, but it is also on the next guy we're going to talk about, and that's Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill did not have a great game. And I know he was trying to do the best he could. He went 23 of 32, 151 yards, threw an interception, was sacked 4 times. There's no reason he should have threw the ball 32 times. When you got a running game that's working. And so, when it comes to Tannehill, and I know a lot of y'all saw my Facebook post a long time ago when I turned against Marcus Mariota. I am trying everything in my power not to turn on Ryan Tannehill. Sorry about that, y'all. I had a small difficulty there, but if you probably heard that, you probably heard one of the bad turnovers we had, which the interception was not Tannehill's fault. That was a great play by the defense. Defense that got the ball, tapped the ball up in the air, and was picked off. That defender did exactly what you are supposed to do. If you can't get to the quarterback, you get your hands up, either knock the ball down or you tip it. And usually that's a tip drill that leads to a pick. So that was just a great play defensively. But Tannehill, the problem I have with Tannehill is that everybody wants to make the excuse, he doesn't have his top targets. He doesn't have AJ. He doesn't have Julio. He don't have Marcus Johnson. Time for those excuses are over. Because I know he's not the elite guy like, a Peyton or a Brady or anything like that. But Peyton Manning knew how to elevate the guys around him. I mean, let's think about this. When Peyton Manning was playing, who ever heard of Austin Collie? Before or after Peyton Manning? Nobody. But he was sure good when Peyton Manning was there. Always getting open, always catching the ball. Blair White, another. I got no idea who he is. Aside from Peyton Manning. Anthony Gonzalez, who I believe is a politician now. Pierre Garçon. Peyton Manning got Pierre Garçon paid. Because ever since he left Indianapolis, went to Washington and San Francisco, he has really not done anything since. Aaron Rodgers, same thing. Now, I know these are all pro guys. But some people say that Tannehill is an above average quarterback. I'm starting to have my doubts. Aaron Rodgers has Devontae Adams, who is great. But then he has guys like Rodgers, the tight end, or another tight end, I forgot his name, Tunyon or something like that. I can't remember his name. Valdez Scantlin, Alan Lazard, who hasn't really played much, Equinemius St. Brown, some other guys who benefit from Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Tyler Lockett has become a star thanks to Russell Wilson. So a lot of times the quarterback can elevate the guys around him. Tannehill does not do that. And this offense is showing that we are just not threatening without Derrick Henry or A.J. Brown. And so I'm trying my best not to turn against Tannehill, but I am getting pretty darn close. I know people like Chris Frazier and some others who just love Tannehill and will die on the hill for him. I'm getting close to the point where I'm about to turn heel on Tannehill, and I'm about to basically give him a low blow and hit him in the back with a chair. I'm getting very close. And I'm going to get to some of y'all comments. Yeah, Titan Hugo says, bad news is Tannehill. He's part of it. Dion said, the running backs and run blocking is good. Can't complain about that either. And again, I don't. Joseph says, I heard Julio would have had a touchdown in that first drive. Yeah, that's if Tannehill let the ball go instead of getting sacked. Now, part of that was Brewer wasn't blocking worth nothing, and the offensive line, pass blocking wise, has been terrible. Absolutely terrible, and that's across the line. Terrible. D09 says, I agree about Downing. Downing, CW says, Downing share part of the blame, but can't cover for everything. Did you see Arians and Brady yesterday versus Saints? And that was a better O-line and wide receivers and tight end than we have and a running back, and Downing beat the Saints. Here's the thing about this. What's going on with the Titans offense has been going on all year. What happened with Brady and Arians, that was one game. Can't compare the two. That is one game. And everything. Why when we catch the ball, we always short of the marker? So true. And Todd Downing went away from Foreman. Yes. Dion says, Julio getting tired of us. I mean, he's being wasted because they won't. I kept screaming during the game. I'm like, throw Julio the daggone ball. I'm like, throw Julio the ball. Set the play up for Julio. And it's like they just won't do it. Wow. Josh Reyes said, we need a new team medical doctor. Might not be a bad idea. He said, but to be fair, can't see the injuries that will come, like top 3 wide receiver going down, top 2 running back, but he should have come into the season with better tight end and right tackle. The rest is freaking injuries. I mean, here's the thing, and I know some people are looking at J-Rob. The Isaiah Wilson pick, yes, that was terrible. Dylan Radunz, I'm blaming the coaches because I really believe the coaches set up Dylan Radunz to fail. And, you know, instead of trying to play him at tackle, they're trying so hard to make him a guard. I'm like, let the man be a tackle. The guy's a tackle, not a guard. Let him be a tackle. And that's the thing. Titan Hugo says, Tannehill hasn't had a great game in weeks. True. Yep, and right here, Stanley Wilson talking about Ferkser. Ferkser is an absolute failure this season. He was supposed to be taking on a bigger role, stepping up, but it makes it seem like we really miss Jonnu. Miss Mims, how you doing? Cole Baxter, I would love to trade for Russell Wilson. If we could put Tannehill in the deal, I'd be down for it too. CW says, Tannehill is no Peyton Manning, to say the least. Henry threat with that PA was hiding a lot of O-line issues. True. I'm not disagreeing. He is not Manning or Brady or Rodgers. I'm just saying those guys elevated the talent around them. That's all I'm saying. Mark something say he's not an elite quarterback, though. No, he's not. And let's not get started on Mariota. Some other people have already turned on Tannehill. I understand that. Let's see. Titan Overdrive. What's going on, sir? And yeah, I mean, offensive line. I feel like this. If Dylan Ray should have been playing tackle instead of trying to make him a guard. The guy hasn't played ball in about a year and a half, and y'all are trying to make him learn right tackle, left guard, right guard. I'm like, just let the man learn how to play tackle. And Ms. Mim says, C-Dub says, if Questenberry can be a right tackle, so can Radons be coached into being a good one. Here's the problem with that. They're not coaching him to be a tackle. They're trying to coach him to be a guard. And that's irritating me. Let's see. The game was terrible. They could have let Randy Bullock kick the field goal to win the game for the first time. Well, here's the problem, Ms. Mims. We were down 6. And we had to score a touchdown to win. So, I mean, Randy Bullock coming off for a field goal, that would have made it 19-16, and we would have had an onside kick and hope to get the ball back. Although I would have trusted my defense. And I know that last drive killed everybody because you're thinking, out of all of this, they could still score and win. Titan Overdrive saying, with the way the offense is playing, we may not win another game. Well, the good news is A.J. Brown has been designated to return. Now, they wanted to call it a stretch that he may be able to play Thursday night. But we need some type of boost. Because this ain't going to cut it. And CW right. Mr. Floyd did say that. He like, it's either neither of them or both. Yeah, and DO9 was talking about, they were talking about Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley came out, balled out. They didn't win, but that wasn't the reason. And you know what? I'm mad at Green Bay. The Green Bay Packers cost me $275 because I had a parlay. Out of 4-game parlay, I had the Cowboys covering -11. They did. -11.5, they did. Buffalo, I believe, -12.5. They covered. The Bengals, not only did they cover +3, they won. All I had was the Packers -7. And they were up 31-17. They were up 31-24. And then they give up the touchdown right at the end of the game. And the Ravens backdoor into covering the spread. I was so angry about that. And Pete Tamata says turnovers. Yeah. I mean, 9 times out of 10, Julio ain't playing Thursday night. E. Sam says, I was at the game in Pittsburgh. Even though we controlled the clock, our offense looks horrible. It was even worse in person. I could believe it. Christian says, I'm glad the Packers beat the Ravens. My brother. Bro, I know you're glad they beat the Ravens. The Packers still would have beat the Ravens, but they should have gave up a touchdown at the end. Costing me money. CW said, now people are picking against the Titans. Well, usually happen when Titans are underdogs, they'll come out and shock everybody. Here's the thing. They were the underdogs in this game. They started off as 2.5-point favorites, ended up being a 1-point dog, and lost. And the turnovers. 4 turnovers. The botch snap between Jones and Tannehill, I just think was a freak accident, because in the whole time they've been together, I've never seen them botch a snap. I want to say it was Jamil Douglas who botched a shotgun snap when Ben Jones had to go out one time against the Ravens. I think that was a couple of years ago. And again, the interception, that was just a great play by the defense. But the 2 fumbles, the one by McMath and the one by Ferkser, were absolute killers. I mean, with Racing McMath, if he just catch the ball, if he knows he's not going to get the first down, just go down, we punt the football, or in that position maybe kick a field goal, I think we would have punted the ball anyway. And we would have to make them drive the length of the field. Maybe that's 3 points they don't get. Ferkser, you catch the pass, just go down. You got the first down. And you cough up the ball. Those 2 were killers. Pathetic fumbles. And so now in the last 3 losses we've had since we're 8-2. We're 1-4 since the 8-2. We are 1-4 since the Saints game. 1-3 rather. And we've turned the ball over 13 times. And was not able to cause 1 turnover. 13 turnovers in 3 games. That's pathetic. Titan Overdrive is right. Turnovers are ridiculous. A junior high team has more discipline. Mark Sumner says, Bayer was hot after the game. They should be. If I'm the defense, I am pissed off at the offense. I would be extremely angry calling those guys out of offense saying, look, y'all fools keep letting us down. We try to pitch a great game for you. I mean, it's like a baseball analogy. The defense was pitching a great game. It wasn't a perfect game. It wasn't a no-hitter. But it was like one of those 1 or 2 hitters that you barely gave up a run or 2. And was great pitching. But the Titan defense got 0 run support. They got no support from the offense. So, I mean, you know, somebody saying, Steve, they say the Titans are done. That might very well be true. So, I don't know. I don't know. The turnovers are bad. Tannehill's regressing. Todd Downing completely sucks. We have no wide receivers. We have no tight ends. And our offensive line can't pass block to save their life. And I don't know why in the world they will not just call up Golden Tate. I mean, how worse could he be? He can't be any worse than Nick Westbrook-Akina, Cody Hollister, or Chester Rogers. You put those guys out, they don't threaten anybody. So it's pathetic. Paulie D says, we have a championship defense, practice squad offense. That is pretty good. I like it. And I did talk about the great effort by Deontay Foreman. I mean, at 108 yards, got his ankle rolled up on twice, got it rolled up, and got back in the game. Did what you were supposed to do. And I think all of us thought the defense might struggle a little bit. The offense would carry the defense. Right now, this whole year, the defense has carried the offense. And I hate to say this, but we might as well kiss the number 1 seed goodbye, because we're not going to catch Kansas City. Kansas City is too daggum hot. And Kansas and New England is doing a good job as well. And that's the problem. Philip, you're right. They have no idea what to do without Derrick Henry. And I'm like, a good coordinator, again, should know how to do this. And it seemed like, in a way, it looked like Todd Downing was starting to figure it out after the Kansas City game and, in the Indianapolis game. But then when Henry went down, it's like he had to start back over again, but he has no idea what to do. And you're saying with the King back, we should be fine. Most likely, yes, but still doesn't solve our pass catching problem, even though AJ is coming back. I don't know if he'll play this week. But he might be coming back. But we should have ran the ball a heck of a lot more than we did. And I mean, everybody talk about what do you expect them to do? I'd be like, do something. Michael Pruitt, throw him the ball. Get the tight end involved more. It's like the only players they scheme plays for is Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. It seemed like that's the only play they scheme some plays on. And Nick Westbrook-Ikhine had a big drop. That would have been a nice big play had he just held on to it. So, I agree. Downing sucks. Tannehill is regressing. No pass catchers. Offensive line can't pass block. And the offensive line really let the defense down. And Williams said, I think the Titans should rest all their starters for the 49ers like a bye, then start the Super Bowl run with Miami. Well, no offense, but that is asinine. We're in danger of losing the division because the Colts won and we lost. The Colts are essentially a game, I'll say slightly a game and a half behind us, but really a game. The Colts could seriously catch us. They could catch us. They have hope now. They might believe they can catch us now, where 3 weeks ago that looked impossible. So the Titans blew a golden opportunity. They could have been number 1 in the AFC and one step closer to the division title. And now we got to beat the Niners, who are surging. You got the Dolphins, who have gotten better. And then the Texans, I can't call that one an easy victory either. We don't need to rest anybody. The Colts are coming, and they are. Party says Elijah Molden on COVID. Well, he's on the COVID list. I don't know if he tested positive or he's just been in contact. But Chris Jackson has also been designated to return as well. But I mean, the defense is trying to do everything they can, but the offense has not helped them out. Now, that's true. If we win and Indy loses, we win the division. But we got to win our game first. And the problem is we haven't won. Yeah, we did sweep them, but we've been losing games, and they've been winning. And I agree with this, Titan Overdrive. If we don't win if the Colts win the division and we don't make the playoffs, somebody has to be fired. And I think Vrabel made a mistake. I honestly thought he should have went with Pep Hamilton. Pep Hamilton should have been the offensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans. He would have been good. But maybe he thought, you know what, let me get a guy that I know is a yes guy that will do what I want him to do. So I don't know. But the Titans got work to do. And I don't know. Thursday night, I don't know how to feel about this game, y'all. And I'm being realistic. I want to believe that the Titans can somehow win this game. But I don't, and you know, them being home, I think is a good reason to believe. But I don't know. I just don't know. And he said, who is Pep? Pep Hamilton. He's the former Indianapolis Colts offensive coordinator, and I think he did some coordinating in college football. And he used to be the head coach of the DC Defenders in the second quick installment of the XFL. And Paul D, you're right. If we don't turn the ball over, we can win the game. If we turn the ball over, we're going to lose. And we're going to talk a lot about that on Wednesday. But it was disappointing yesterday. Extremely disappointing by the offense, wasting a great effort by the defense. And again, Downing deserves most of the blame, about 50%. Tannehill, maybe 20% of the blame. And then the other 30% are the guys around them, mainly because Todd Downing doesn't know how to use them. And that's that on that. But let's see. Mark Sumter says the 49ers are like a better version of the Steelers. They're surging. They're looking good. We'll definitely have to see. But everybody, that's pretty much the recap. I mean, again, Titans fall 19-13. They're 8-5. Third in the AFC. 9-5, excuse me. Third in the AFC. And we got our work cut out for us. We do. And so I honestly don't know what to say. Titans better find a way. Get their act together, or they're going to miss out. And I do think Todd Downing does deserve to be fired at the end of the year. So, everybody, make sure you get your nominations out for the Star of the Week and the Dunce of the Day. I'm pretty sure there are plenty of nominees for both. Get your questions ready for Pick My Brain. And again, I want to just say thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. And thank y'all for helping me hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm finna head for 1,100. Make sure, again, y'all share this show out. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Hit that like button. Smash it for me. And I will see y'all on Wednesday as we get ready to talk about the San Francisco 49ers. And no matter how hopeless it might seem, we got to tighten up because that's all we know how to do. Good night, y'all.